Upgrades. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review brought to you from the Toronto Film Festival. This film here is called When Evil Lurks, and this is one of the Midnight Madness entries for TIFF. Also, this is a Shudder film, which people who know how I feel about Shudder films just understand how much expectations I had for this film. And this is directed by Demián Rugna, and here is a quick synopsis. Two brothers race to prevent sprawling of evil incarnate as an epidemic of demonic possession spreads through their rural community. The best way to put When Evil Lurks is, this is a film that has so much promise that doesn't fulfill the promise of it well. As we open up the film, as we see the two brothers as they visit someone's house of someone who is what they call rotten, possessed, has a demon within them. Them and their neighbor then decides to move this person from their village because they don't want to get affected by this person and move and drop into a completely different area so they don't have anything to do with it. Once that action takes place with this film, we see the remnants of this demonic possessed person spread throughout not only still their community, but also through the neighboring community, what happens to affect the brothers and their families. It's a kooky film. It works in a way, in a sense of demonic possession films. This is one of the better films when it pertains to a storyline for demonic possession. The issue with When Evil Lurks is the characters are some of the dumbest characters humanly possible. Some of the decisions made by the brothers in this film make absolutely no sense. And some of the conclusions that we as an audience jump to and get to 2/3 before the brothers get to those same conclusions also makes absolutely no sense. I find myself frustrated with this film just because the premise is so good. The setup is so good. When we get to learn the terms of the rotten and what that means to this Latin community and what it means to this town and how that affects them and the folklore behind it, all of that is some of the most interesting elements of this film. But then right after that, we get some of the dumbest decisions made humanly possible in a horror movie. And that's something that I don't think you can forgive because it would make no sense for these characters to understand the history of demonic possession the way they do in this film. And yet they still make the mistakes that they make. It would almost make more sense if they had no idea what demonic possession was, and then they make the decisions they make in this film. And because of that, and because that's not the case, it makes the characters seem just not written well or dumb. That's the best way to put it. It makes the characters seem dumb because some of the decisions just are dumb. We get one of the brothers who goes to rescue his kids from his ex-wife. When he goes to rescue his kids from his ex-wife, we see the demonic possession follow him to their home, and we see a horrific scene that happens that's also extremely funny. And when that scene happens, and then he takes his sons away from their mother out of fear that this demonic possession can take them over. One of his sons is autistic, cannot speak. And as an audience member, you're sitting back wondering, that person could actually possibly be possessed and you not know it. And it plays on so long before someone else points out to him that maybe he's possessed. And yet the brother still it does not compute to him that could ever be a possibility just because the kid has autism. It is so limiting in scope of what these characters think and believe that it really affects this movie to a point where you forget just how promising the premise is, how promising the setup is, how interesting the story is, and you're left with just dumb characters who make dumb decisions, and it completely takes you out of this film. But When Evil Lurks, brought to you by the Toronto Film Festival and Shudder, who is, to me, the best streaming service going at this point, out of a possible 10, I'm going to give When Evil Lurks a 5.5 out of 10. In the end, the premise of the story are still so strong. The direction is really good. Some of the shot selections, the way shots are set up in this film, the cinematography, the score, all of that was good in this film. But these are the dumbest characters I've ever seen in a horror movie. And that's a problem. And that problem can't be overlooked, and that problem drags down the rest of the film. But check it out when it drops. Let us know what you think. This has been another JVS movie review brought to you from the Toronto Film Festival. Peace, people.